From the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
It's ring season once again for the women's tennis team as the reigning national champions served up an ACC title Sunday afternoon.
And the Heels got the revenge they needed as they sliced through top 10 competitors. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Caroline Yaffa.
And I'm Joshua Dolgoff. Thanks for joining us. The top-seeded Heels took a 4-0 win against Duke to get things started, leading them to take on NC State for the third time this season, searching for their first win against the Wolfpack. The Heels quickly secured the doubles point, highlighted by a comeback from Fiona Crawley and Carson Tangulig with shots like this volley from Crawley. In singles, Tangulig kept pressure on the pack, quickly taking her set 6-4, 6-0, winning the first singles point for Carolina with 3 straight aces, just lighting it up from the service line. Annika Jarlagata closed out her match shortly after with shots like this powerful cross-court forehand. Elizabeth Scotty closed a rally with her forehand and clinched the W for the Heels, giving Carolina their first win against State this season and the chance to take home their 12th ACC title. The Heels started their run in the finals off strong, winning all 3 doubles matches to secure the doubles point. Elizabeth Scotty brought the heat going into singles, jumping forehands like this one helped her secure the first singles win of the afternoon for Carolina. Riley Tran followed suit, scoring another crucial point for the Heels. In a close match, Tangulig forced a third set where she fought hard. This wasn't enough, though, as the Hoos were able to steal their only point of the afternoon. A strong performance from freshman Tatum Evans kept her in the match where she forced a third set. With a beautiful backhand, she secured the ACC championship for Carolina. The Heels celebrated their 4-1 victory all the way back to the Hill.
UNC football hosted its annual spring game on Saturday, giving fans a sneak peek of what's to come in the fall. With an offense losing star quarterback Drake May to the NFL, UNC is looking to either transfer Max Johnson or May's backup Connor Harrell to fill the void. Harrell threw for 3 touchdowns while Johnson handed it off for 1, but the quarterback decision is still in the air. UNC's backfield is strong with Amarion Hampton and has added some depth, especially with first-year Davion Goss. On the other side of the ball, there's a newfound aggressiveness and energy under Coach Collins that makes the fans excited for next season. Fresh back from his weekend watching the new Carolina football team, Landon Elliott is here to tell us which new key players made contributions. Landon, what do you have for us?
Well, Caroline, we're going to get the players in a second, but first of all, let's talk about the season. It's spring. Pollen is in the air and allergies reign supreme. But Saturday, Tar Heel colors were out and the football was in the air. On one side of the ball, this play right here is a great example of offensive prowess. They look great, but on the other side, the secondary gave up a big play. And a lot of it has to do with base technique. So let's break down exactly what happened right here. Connor Harrell, he's in the quarterback battle with Max Johnson. This right here is going to put him a leg up on Max. He throws a great dart down the field to Javarius Green, about a 60-yard throw, which is a great long ball. But on defense, let's look at Michael Short right here. He was one-on-one with a receiver. There's no secondary guy in the backfield, no one here, just a bunch of green grass. Can't have that defensively, but on offense, great find. Great pass, great catch by Javarius Green, and that's a speedster. He's an incoming freshman. He probably runs a 4.3, which is great for the offense. And also offensively, Darwin Barlow. Insert him into the backfield with Amarion Hampton. He is coming in from USC, and he looked great on Saturday. He was running downfield, getting outside zone plays, cutting it back inside with great agility, into the end zone, and he did an excellent job for the Heels backfield. Another new addition, Jordan Shipp, going up and getting this ball in the end zone. The incoming freshman receivers look great, and they'll have to be with the key injuries, J.J. Jones and Gavin Blackwell being out, but hopefully they'll come back in, insert the new receivers, and the offense will look great. As the Heels continue their offseason workouts, the quarterback battle, like I said, will continue to ramp up, and there have been reports the Heels are looking for another quarterback in the portal. Defensively, the Heels will continue to work on those little assignments, like I showed in the play with Will Hardy, to improve their secondary prowess. Back to you guys on the desk.
Landon, everyone wants to know who has a leg up in the quarterback competition. Who do you think has the advantage after the spring?
Well, Caroline, Connor Harrell had the better stat line on Saturday, throwing 3 touchdowns to Johnson's 2. Even though Harrell had the better stats, It's still a tight race and anyone's job to win come the summer. Caroline?
Well, hopefully we can find out soon who the guy is going to be in Chapel Hill. Thanks, Landon.
There was big news surrounding UNC basketball over the weekend as Harrison Ingram made his decision to forego his remaining college eligibility and declare for the NBA draft. Ingram, a small forward, averaged 12.2 points this past season and scored 65 threes, leading the Heels as he earned third-team All-ACC honors in his junior season. His beyond-the-arc shooting ability will be a crucial missing piece that UNC will try to fill this offseason. So, Caroline, now that we know Ingram's decision, all eyes are on R.J. Davis. Do you think he returns for a fifth year in Carolina Blue?
Josh, I think, in my opinion, it's the best decision for his career. I mean, with his individual success, he was an All-American, his consistent 40-minute games all season, and big-time NIL money, playing 5 years in Carolina Blue is a no-brainer. Now, UNC still has to make some big decisions in the transfer portal. What's one transfer that's a must for Hubert Davis?
Now, the talk of the town has been Cade Tyson, one of the best shooters in the portal from Belmont. But give me the big fella from Rutgers, Cliff Amore. UNC is in need of a big with the departure of Armando Bacot, and this guy is a huge defensive presence. He averaged 3 blocks per game last season. He's a guy who could be the anchor on the defensive side of the ball. Oh, and by the way, he can score in double-digit figures any given night.
Well, Josh, UNC needs to be reigning ACC champs NC State in not only basketball, but the Diamond Heels were looking to get back on track after dropping Game 1 to NC State on Thursday. On Friday, the Heels came out swinging with yet another bomb from Vance Honeycutt after a couple of base hits and 2 more homers from Parks Harbor and Gavin Gallagher. The Heels were up 4-1 against the Pack. Carolina let the lead slip away, allowing State to tie the game in the 8th due to a passed ball. Pitcher Matthew Matias couldn't shake the mistake, throwing another wild pitch, giving State the opportunity to slide home and take the lead. The Heels take another 1-run loss to the Pack with a score of 5-4. On Saturday, Colby Wilkerson and Alex Madeira were unstoppable at the plate, combining for a whopping 6 hits, including a home run each, driving in a total of 5 runs, and crossing the plate 7 times. With Vance Honeycutt's 70th career stolen base, he etched his name in ACC history as the first ever 50-70 player. Aiden Haw delivered 6 solid innings and kept NC State's offense in check, avoiding the sweep. Heels win 14-3. To break down this dramatic series against the NC State Wolfpack, let's throw it over to our baseball analyst, Caroline Daly, for Daily on the Diamond. Caroline?
Caroline, the Diamond Heels once again lost their first 2 games of an ACC series on the road. But each of those first 2 games were close, showing the fight this UNC team has. In the bottom of the 9th of the first game, it's tied 8-8 with 1 out. Matt Poston, he's going to throw a fastball to State's Brandon Butterworth. But look at where the catcher's set up. He wants the ball at the bottom of the zone, right at the batter's knees. But Poston, he misses his spot, and look at where Luke Stevenson is about to catch this pitch. Right at the letters of the batter's jersey, the highest point of the zone. Butterworth is not going to miss this crucial mistake, and he drives the ball way out to walk off for State 9-8. In their second game of the series, the Heels had a 4-1 lead up until the 7th inning, and ended up losing the game 5-4. During the third game, the Heels dominated the entire game, scoring 14 runs and holding NC State to only 3 runs the entire game. The Diamond Heels are usually known for their hitting, but their fielding is just as great. In the bottom of the 4th, Anthony D'Onofrio sprinted toward the middle of right field to make this insane catch to get the 2nd out of the inning and keep their lead at 6-1. Then in the bottom of the 5th, there's 2 outs and a runner in scoring position on second for State. Casey Cook extends his body toward the left field line to make this phenomenal catch to also keep their lead at 6-1. Even though they dropped this series, as I said a couple weeks ago, there's no need to panic because the Heels always know how to bounce back in their last game of an away series. Caroline?
Well, Caroline, with that win on Saturday, the Diamond Heels clinched a spot in the ACC tournament. Even though they have a lot of games left, what do they need to do to stay atop the ACC standings?
Caroline, they need to get back to their dominant play and perform better on the mound. They've dropped 3 of their past 4 games, and they have some big ACC series coming up, like Virginia Tech this weekend, which is third in the Coastal Division behind UNC and Duke.
Well, we'll have to see if the Heels can get back to their dominant play at the Bosch tomorrow against Gardner-Webb. Thanks, Caroline.
Speaking of pitching, Olivia Stone has the story of a pitcher who committed to UNC 3 years ago.
For most athletes, getting recruited is their top priority. That dream came too early for Justin Mabe in his freshman year when he committed to UNC to play baseball.
I had started talking to some other ACC schools, and he had told Carolina that I really wanted to talk to them. He came to see me that spring. They invited me to a camp, and then eventually they offered me a scholarship, and eventually I ended up committing there.
Being a top recruit means having to choose between competitive schools.
I spoke to a few colleges, NC State, UNC, Duke, Wake Forest, ECU, Liberty.
But being from a Carolina family made his decision easy.
There's pictures of me when I'm little wearing Carolina stuff. I mean, that's just kind of a family tradition.
Justin's father, Jeremy, who played baseball himself, talks about what watching Justin grow up in baseball means to him, as well as what it has been like watching his son get recruited by Carolina.
Just watching him kind of follow in those footsteps has been fun. They got a big family atmosphere. You know, Carolina's met all our expectations on just kind of what we want a program to be like. So it makes you feel good that you're actually sending him to a place where they really care about him. Whether he throws a complete game shutout or, you know, he doesn't get out of the first inning, you know, that they care about him. So that's super important as a parent. Just kind of a dream come true.
I know Justin is looking forward to pitching here in a few years, and we're all excited to watch him. I'm Olivia Stone reporting.
We're all expecting great things from Justin in years to come. UNC softball had a 3-game battle against Louisville this past weekend. The Heels dropped the first game 2-1, but rallied on Saturday behind the bats of Autumn Owen and Destiny Middleton to dominate 9-1. And in the Game 3 decider, after trailing 6-0, UNC walked it off with a Middleton single to left field as Carolina won in style 7-6 to take the series.
This weekend, the men's lacrosse team traveled to South Bend for a matchup with the #1 team in the nation, hoping to get a huge upset win. Carolina was just outclassed in every way, losing 14-6. For more about the devastating loss, let's go over to Riley Kennedy to break it down.
Now, Carolina, Notre Dame scored 7 straight goals on Saturday. Outscored UNC 6-0 in the third quarter. Now let's look at the injuries, okay? UNC's without Paul Barton, season-ending injury, Owen Duffy, one of the best freshman attackers in the country, and both the Schwartz brothers. Definitely affects what's going on. Let's look at 3 plays, a part of the 7-goal stretch from Saturday. So now on this first set, you're going to see Pat Cavanaugh, one of the best facilitators and passers in the country. He loves to get stuff going behind at X. If you watch this pick, okay, it's just an off-ball pick. It delays Ty English, okay? He does a great job, okay? Protects his stick, kind of sticks his leg out. Ty English is late. Look at this, though. This is an easy dunk. He's going to get a dunk off this curl. Pat's going to find you every single time. Now on the second set, watch this, okay? Chris Cavanaugh, Pat's younger brother, he's just going to float up top, okay? It's just so fluent. As a defense, it's so hard to guard offensive players that keep moving. Chris catches this ball, right? He's floating up top, and it's just an easy dunk right now. See, Notre Dame's just one of the best offenses in the country. Actually, the #1 scoring offense in the country. You guys should like that stat. Now, you're going to see Pat get the ball. Again, now watch this, okay? Chris, obviously he can pass it. He can shoot, too. Look at this UNC defenders. None of these 6 guys know where Chris is. You can't do that. He's one of the best outside shooters in the country. Pat's going to find his brother, okay? Because they grew up. It's just like backyard lacrosse. Step down shot for Chris. Look at that. I'm going to replay it. The closest person to Chris when he shoots it is his own offensive player. Not a single defender was right near Chris. Now, this was obviously a devastating loss, Carolina, like you said, and I said this on Friday. Notre Dame is so fun to watch. They were the better team. Now UNC gets ready for Duke.
Riley, does UNC stand a chance against Duke?
Now, the Tar Heels are in a tough spot right now. Very banged up. I mentioned that. Who knows who's playing? And it's always hard from a player's standpoint. How do we really game plan not knowing who's going out there? This gives players the chance to deliver and step up against Duke. And like I said, it's Duke.
Thanks, Riley. Hard to win with so many players out.
Following their dominant top 25 victory against arch-rival Duke, the UNC women's lacrosse team is setting its sights on winning an 8th ACC tournament championship. The Tar Heels enter the ACC tournament as the 4th seed after finishing the season with a 10-5 record. UNC will play 5th-seeded Virginia in the quarterfinals on Wednesday at 2 p.m. at American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte. To advance against UVA, Carolina will look to their leading scorers, Alyssa Long and Kylie Motis, for a strong performance. The Tar Heels have advanced to the ACC title game 12 of the past 13 years. Let's go inside the crease with Caroline Routh to see how the Heels will propel themselves through ACCs, possibly bringing another trophy back to Chapel Hill. Caroline?
Joshua, the oldest rivalry in the South will be back on Wednesday with a matchup against the Hoos. And given their first game against them, this one will surely bring the flair. Now, let's see what the Heels defense need to look for. Now, in this last matchup, we're going to see UVA playing with the ball up top of the 8. They get off this little flip pass, and while all the offensive focus is up here, that's when Mackenzie Hogue, UNC lacrosse legend Katie Hogue's younger sister, is going to slip in from the bottom, cut through, beat Alyssa Long, and get the ball in the back of the net. Now, the Heels just can't get distracted. You have to be watching your ball and your girl. Now, the other big threat to watch for from the Hoos is Morgan Schwab. With 50 assists on the season, Schwab is the quarterback of this UVA attack. Here we see Schwab. She's going to work the ball back at X and find none other than Katie Hogue to finish that goal off. Now, we can't let Schwab make those power plays. You know she's looking to feed, and you've got to shut her down quickly. Now, the Heels were able to secure the overtime win in this last game, and let's see how. Over here, Alyssa Long draws 3 defenders on her, and Eva Angrilli is going to slip in with a breakthrough cut from low, catch, and finish. Now, Angrilli has been out from injury. In this game, Long stepped up and Angrilli clutched up, but the Heels will be missing her due to her injury, so we'll need to see other attackers be hungry for the goal. The stakes are high in overtime, but they're even higher in postseason play. Let's see if the Heels can rise to the occasion. Joshua?
Caroline, Virginia is nationally ranked 10 spots ahead of UNC heading into the tournament. Should the Heels be worried at all?
Rankings don't mean much, especially in the postseason. The Heels have beaten this team before, and they can do it again. But expect UVA to play with a chip on their shoulder. They have something to prove, and the Heels just can't let that happen.
Thanks, Caroline. I'm excited to see the two teams duke it out on Wednesday in Charlotte.
The UNC men's tennis team looked to continue their quest for an ACC title on Friday morning as they took on the 4th-seeded Duke Blue Devils in the ACC Championship quarterfinals in Cary. Despite tough efforts like this from the duo of Patrick Schoen and Peter Murphy, Carolina failed to secure the doubles point, falling early behind 1-0. In singles, the Tar Heels continued to fight, but struggled to get anything going. Will Peters was sharp early on, but a lingering ankle injury led to a straight sets loss. Philip Jordan was able to rally to force a first-set tiebreaker, but would ultimately fall in straight sets as well. Carolina would go on to drop this one 4-0. The Heels will look to regroup before the NCAA tournament starts in May.
On Saturday, many roads were temporarily closed as thousands of runners came to the hill for the 17th annual Tar Heel 10-miler. Reporter Zoe Sinclair tells us more about this exciting race.
UNC students, alumni, and the local community all showed up ready to participate in this exciting race. While it was challenging, runners loved the energy and support they got from other participants and a cheering crowd.
It was hard. It's really humid out, but I think it was really fun. I just like get energy from people, and I love seeing the people that I know.
The Tar Heel 10-miler is open to runners of all skills and experience, and for some, participating in the race was their first time ever running this far.
It's kind of hard. It was my first 10-miler. And I think the last time I ran, the longest I've ever ran was 8 miles, and that was in high school. But I kept getting a runner high every 3 miles, so it wasn't too bad.
Despite obstacles, the highs and lows, for some, getting to the finish line and accomplishing something as mentally and physically challenging as this race was the best part.
It's like the feeling of coming down the finishing chute, and you just push yourself so hard. You went somewhere you hadn't gone before, and you finished it. And then you get to see all your friends at the finish.
And you get a bow tie.
Yeah, and so many other people who challenge themselves to do this.
Whether you're old or young, someone who wants a personal best or just wants to have fun, everyone is welcome at the Tar Heel 10-miler. I'm Zoe Sinclair reporting.
I'd put that on my calendar for next year, but number 1, I'm graduating, and number 2, it's 10 miles. That's just too many. UNC Track and Field sent a group of athletes to compete in the Georgia Tech Invitational during the weekend, and it was highlighted by the 400-meter runners. The women's 4x400 team placed second with a time of 3:42, with freshman Delia Martins also placing sixth in the standard 400-meter run. In the men's 400-meter hurdles, Craig Sadler, Matthew Harris, and Blaze Atkinson took second through fourth place. Atkinson also took fourth in the 110-meter hurdles.
The defending field hockey national champions traveled to Durham to face their biggest rivals, Duke, in a scrimmage Friday evening. The Tar Heels and Blue Devils both started off slowly, ending the first half tied 0-0. However, that didn't last long. Once the Heels got started, they just didn't stop, and Duke couldn't keep up. The Heels not only played phenomenal defense, like electrifying steals from Lisa Slinkert, but also kept putting the ball into the goal. Riley Heck got the Heels on the board with this penalty corner, and Carolina only went up from there. The Tar Heels drove back to the Hill on the winning bus, securing the dub 5-0.
The UNC men's golf team traveled to Charlotte this weekend in search of their first ACC title since 1996. The Heels finished first in the stroke play portion of the tournament, securing a spot in the match play semifinals this morning, with their sights set on the championship match this afternoon. Austin Greaser led the way for Carolina this weekend, shooting 6 under par, finishing in a tie for third overall individually. The women's golf team teed up against defending national champion and top seed Wake Forest yesterday in Wilmington for the ACC semifinals. Freshman Reagan Sutherland got the first point on the board for the Heels, closing the match with wins on the 10th, 11th, and 14th holes. However, Ing Iad Plume and Inez Ing both fell to the Demon Deacons 3-2, and Carolina's fate was sealed when Brooke Rivers defeated Kayla Smith 1-up with wins on the 16th and 18th holes.
You already know what time it is. It's time for our 2 nominees for Sports Extra's Play of the Week. We've got a clutch hit from a softball doubleheader and a filthy goal from one of UNC's lacrosse's finest. In the bottom of the 7th, with 2 outs, Owen hits a bomb over the fence to tie the game for the Heels after coming back from a 6-run deficit. Carolina ends up winning the game, but it was a nail-biter. And next, James Matten fought his way through 2 defenders to score a backhand shovel shot into the top right corner of the cage to tie the Heels up with the top-ranked Fighting Irish. Go to our Instagram and vote for your favorite play of the week. Make sure to tune in on Friday to see which play takes the honor of our last play of the week of the semester.
That does it for this edition of Sports Extra, but before we go, the North Carolina Media and Journalism Hall of Fame inductions were Friday night. Among those honored, UNC basketball legend Eric Montross, who died last December. Bethany Pryor looks back at the impact of the gentle giant.
Eric Montross has just been inducted into the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media Hall of Fame.
People weren't tuning in to listen to Eric. They were tuning in to listen to the Tar Heels. And Eric was part of that vehicle that could tell that story.
Even if he wasn't talking about basketball, he'd have so many other things about life he can talk about relating to basketball.
To have that experience and that love for a place that he loved, with teammates that he loved, doing something that he loved, and talking about that every game, that translated through his commentary, his love for Carolina basketball.
The legacy Eric Montross left as a commentator is only a small testament to the type of person and teammate he was.
The Tar Heels have won the national championship.
But especially in the championship game and that run that we made, just how good he was, and just what he had to go through, what he had to deal with from opposing defenses, the physicality that he had to deal with, the ability for him to keep his poise and composure.
People really enjoyed being around Eric. They respected him. They loved him. They knew him as a player. They knew him as a broadcaster, and they knew him as a person. And he was high level as all 3 things.
Eric Montross won't only be remembered for his time on the court, but his time in the Tar Heel community as well.
Even as a student athlete here, he spent a lot of his free time and extra time, visiting, sick children at the UNC hospitals.
The gentle giant is someone from a statue just so big and so fierce as a competitor on the floor, but as soon as off the floor, he was somebody that was compassionate towards people, loved people, was so caring, and the biggest thing for him is he had a passion for serving.
He always had his Father's Day camp here every year, and he loved the kids. So I think he did a lot for this community, and this community embraced him.
Eric Montross's legacy will forever be remembered in the Carolina community.
Just an unbelievable teammate. You know, his skill set, his size, his ability to dominate on both ends of the floor, but to also be just a great teammate and be thinking about team always was something that I always remember playing with him here at the University of North Carolina.
I'm Bethany Pryor reporting.